Welcome to the virtual Daytona International Speedway for the third round of the Renault Clio League Season 2. But Stephen Hurd goes to the top by 0.06 of a second right now. Neil goes into 8th, leading the Division 2 drivers. Jukovic could be off of pole for the first time this season. First 2 rounds, he has gone into pole position. Will we see him heat 2 instead of heat 1? And heat 2 is normally the hotter races of the two. They're normally where the races get a bit more feisty. Here comes Jukovic through turn number 4, up towards turn 5. What will it be this time? Will it be faster than Stephen Hurd? Yes, it is. It is a quick lap indeed. We're green and we are away here at Daytona for heat race number 1. There is still some spray on the circuit. Drivers are going to have to be careful. They cannot push it too hard, even though it is starting to dry up a little bit. Some issues towards the back. We've got Michael Wynn off the circuit at the very back of the field there, as it is going to be side by side for a lot of our drivers towards the back. They're settling it up single file towards the front though. That is what they are going to want to keep right now. And it's almost 4 wide at the back there. Who is that? That's Lob leaving Malone, leading Perez here as they settle through turn number 4. Malone's into the wall, hits Perez. What's happened there? For Malone, I think there's been some aquaplaning, but that is a real shame for Perez. Caught up in that one because that aquaplaning would have made it really, really difficult. As here goes a move for 3rd position. Ian Lane on the outside is Anders Hagland, who is going to turn to the outside lane here. Now you can still see that checkerboard of Division 1 and Division 2 drivers, which means that actually Lane in the 3rd is going to get the points for position 2. But Hagland's going to want to get past Lane so he can try and close down the championship leader of Hilton to try and keep Hagland behind. We are riding on board with Ian Lane. He runs wide though, and that is Hagland up the inside and will take 3rd position. Can he do something here to take himself past Hilton in that championship? He overtakes Henriquez up the inside of turn number 1. He's going to try and close up to Anthony Hilton here for P1 in class. Different racing lines into turn 1, and in fact that is a great exit for Hagland here. Is it going to be a move? He's going to be stuck on the outside. He can't do it there. He follows behind through turn number 2 and up to the braking zone of turn 3 here. Hagland, knowing he has a bit more confidence, a better racing line into turn 1. Is he just going to wait once more for turn number 1? One more lap in, 2 laps to go as Anders Hagland goes to the outside of Anthony Hilton. It's a really wide line. Is it going to pay off on the exit for some speed as it stands? The Division 2 drivers showing their worth today. Around the outside. No, he's off. He is off as Hagland pushes just a bit too much and falls to 3rd in class. Jukovic will win here at Daytona for heat race number 1. As heat race number 1 comes to an end, it's Jukovic who wins here, followed by Hilton. It was Downey in 3rd, Henriquez took 4th, and Mark Codden 5th. Anders Hagland took 6th, followed by Zach Gould, Peter McIntyre, John J.C. Cook, and Michael Wynn. Then it became Paul Borenstein, Ian Lane. Oh, as it looks like Borenstein. No, it was Eric Martin who isn't a class driver. Is then Ian Lane, Aaron Perez, Thomas Batchelor, Matt Malone, and Brendan Lobb. We are green for heat race number 2. It is Hurd away from the lead as they head into turn number 1. That is, I believe, Zach Tebow going up the order. Jared Swain falling down from what was pole position in the Division 2 category behind Stephen Hurd. Pulled it all out now though, and they are back single file, but there is a little bit of a nudge here. Another nudge again. Driver off is Matt Neal. Matt Neal has gone off the track as we continue to watch thanks to him. Hatfield! And there was just a bit too much of a push with Richard Edgar. They're both off and out. Fox, is there going to be a move here from Fox into turn number 1? He looks to the inside. He is going to try it. He just doesn't have enough overlap. Only just. How is that going to affect his exit here? Is it going to put him under attack from Rocks, or is Rocks going to support him in his move back up towards Poplar? It looks like there's just enough gap that Rocks doesn't have to think about what he is going to do with his teammate ahead of him. We close up to the end of this race. There may be a move by Tebow here, but this is certainly a move. No, that's Tebow off the circuit ahead. Tebow has run off the circuit at turn number 1. That means that Swaim is now comfortably leading Division number 1, and there's contact as Fox goes to the outside of Poplar. There is a little bit of contact. Fox is still up the inside. Poplar's got the ideal wet racing line, but Fox has got the inside line. Fox does it. Fox moves into 6th overall, into 4th in class. But he wants to put a Division 2 driver between himself and Poplar, that's for sure. As Poplar goes for another new line there. A nice one into the corner. How is it going to give the exit? It keeps him about 3 tenths behind here. Fox is about 2.5 tenths behind Tebow. In class, El Hilary is not having the race that he would have hoped for, with his championship rival winning heat race number 1, but he has recovered well. Stephen Hurd, who crosses the line to win Division 1 here in heat race 2, and Swaim wins Division 2. Stephen Hurd won that one ahead of Jared Swaim. Timothy Rosenfeld came home in 2nd in class, 3rd overall, followed by Mohammed El Hilary. Harry Fox came 5th, followed by Zach Tebow, Bob Poplar, and Neil Rocks. Matt Neal and Jürgen Nagel round out your top 10. It was then Kevin Anfield who starts in 11th, followed by Eric Martin, who is a Division 2 driver, Matt Gwillam, Travis Linscomb Hatfield, and Richard Edgar. The green flag is out. We are away, and Paul Braunstein has been black flagged off the line, most likely for a jump start. It is still wet out there. All drivers out on the wet tyres. No one risking it with the slicks as we go side by side, slightly further down the order, but it does look like we are keeping it clean. It's going about 3 wide in the middle of the field here, but that's the 303 of John Cook deciding to back out of it. Doesn't want to get involved too much up in that fight. Oh yes, that is right. You can see that coming down. Rain starting to fall once more here in Daytona. Onto the brakes, different racing line, and here comes Downey. Up the inside of Swain, there's a little bit of contact. Swain runs slightly wide, Hilton now pulling away. Downey keeping it side by side with Swain there in P2. Is going to have to back out into turn number 2 in that fight, but here comes Downey once more to the inside. Is going to go for it. There's contact. There's a little bit of a nudge. Another little bit of a nudge. And Downey is up the inside of Swain for P2 in class. Is going to drop back again, but that has increased that gap ahead to about 6 tenths of a second here. How is the 7 going to treat turn number 1? A much tighter line there. And that is Rosenfeld leaving the room, not wanting the contact. And it looks like that is going to be a perfect placement for El Hilary, just scaring Rosenfeld slightly wide at turn number 1. They're side by side up towards turn 2. Rosenfeld gets back onto the racing line. Fox looks up the inside of El Hilary. Can't do it. They continue up towards turn number 3. And Fox back up the inside of El Hilary here. And he makes it. Fox is going to stick on to 4th in class in that Division 1 category, ahead of Mohammed El Hilary, behind, who has dropped to 8th overall, but they are still nip and tuck here, and I'm sure that El Hilary has not had enough of this race yet. What is Fox going to do? Going to go on the tighter line. El Hilary looking for an even tighter line. That is a disappearing El Hilary, and I'm really hoping we have not just lost a championship contender from this session, but I am afraid to say Mohamed El Hilary has disconnected from the session by the end of this event. Feature race 2, even though it will start at 6 a.m. in-game time, it will be more than enough time as Downey goes up the inside, as also Rosenville goes up the inside of Fox. Downey is it up the inside of Swain. Rosenville drops behind. Downey does not drop behind here. On the outside lane, will turn across to try and get a good run up into turn number 3. A tight line once more for Swain. Is back again. Is just no getting rid of this rain apparently. And once again, Swain goes deep into turn 1. It produces an opportunity for Riley Downey to make his move on the inside, but once again it'll turn to the outside of turn 2. He's got much more of an overlap this time, so that means Swain can't close the door. Downey is there on the inside line. It's a much tighter line than Downey normally runs. Can he hold it, or is Swain going to be able to do a switchback? He can't. He's stuck behind. Downey moves into 4th overall, 2nd in class, and Fox has pulled a great gap of almost 8/10 over Rosenville behind now. Actually, it's increased to 9/10 to Rosenville behind. But here comes Swain for 2nd in class in D2. He's on the outside. But now he has got Harry Fox in the Division 1 class coming into this fight as well. That's the last thing Swain needs. Swain needs to fight Downey, not fight Fox. Downey is going to love it if Harry Fox get involved in this one. Fox gets a little bit of a nudge on the back of Swain. Swain goes that tight line. Again, another nudge there. Is it going to be a push from Fox here to maybe benefit Swain? I'm sure he just wants to make his way through. We're riding on board now with Harry Fox behind Jared Swain and Riley Downey. Fox is 3rd in class in that D1 category. He's got 3rd and 2nd in the D2 category. Ahead of him, 3 different racing lines. Downey has run wide on the exit. Is that going to give Swain an opportunity here on the outside line? No, it's not. He's going to have to tuck back behind into turn 2. Downey is going to hold on to that. Is Fox going to go for the move on the outside? They're side by side. There's contact. That's going to bring Rosenville back into this, surely, in the battle for 3rd in class in that D1 category. But Swain now 4/10 behind Riley Downey, who is taking advantage of the battling between the 2 classes behind. Enriquez is falling down the order. At the back, he has gone off at turn number 1. Let's see if we can finally get our first replay of the day and see what has happened to Luis Henriquez on the Division 1 category, battling with Bob Poplar just offline onto the grass, and that is going to be all the way into the tyre barrier. And once you're there in the wet, there's going to be absolutely nothing you can do. We are going to return to our fight up towards the front then. Here it is. This is our fight once more. And again, it is Fox on the outside here of Swain. But this time, Fox takes it. Harry Fox gets it on the outside of turn 1. Swain is going to have to accept 3rd position in class now to get one last position overall. Of course, no point difference here. It is a risk for both drivers to be fighting this out, but this could invite Swain back into the mix at the very end here. How's Downey going to do it in his fight for Fox? It looks like he backs out just a little bit up the inside. Fox takes it on the outside. It is going to be Downey at the front of that, but here comes Jukovic in feature race 1. Once more, Jukovic wins, and it is Stephen Hurd in 2nd, first in the Division 2 category is Anthony Hilton. Here are our results for feature race 1 then. We've got Milan Jukovic from who won that one, and Stephen Hurd who got second overall and in class. A great result for Anthony Hilton, taking first in class, third overall. It was Harry Fox in fourth and third in class. Then it was Riley Downey and Jared Swain taking the podium in the Division 2 category. Timothy Rosenfeld then took 7th overall, followed by Anders Haglund. Neil Rocks in 9th, followed by Matt Neal, rounding out your top 10 overall. It was then Mark Quad in 11th, followed by Bob Poplet. Kevin Anfield came home in 13th out of John Cook, and Matt Malone came home in 15th, just ahead of Zach Tebow. Ian Lane took 17th, Travis Linksome Hatfield took 18th, Aaron Perez and Matt Gwillam rounded out your top 20 drivers. It was then Eric Martin who came home 21st, followed by Peter McIntyre. Jürgen Nagel came home 23rd, followed by Zach Gould. Brendan Lobb came home in 25th, followed by Thomas Batchelor. 27th was Paul Braunstein, followed by Michael Wynn. Luis Henriquez came home 29th, and Mohamed El Hilary came home 30th. Obviously, Henriquez retiring out of that race right at the very end. El Hilary disconnecting earlier on in the race, which was a real shame. And at the very back of the grid, in 31st position, was Richard Edgar. Looking at the invert, it is going to be the top 23, which means Zach Gould, you're up there again. Can he do something with it this time? The 138 machine will start feature race 2 on pole. And they're away, and we are green for the final race of the day here in feature race 2 as Gould pulls away from the front of the field and has a nice launch. McIntyre tries to get up the inside of Nagel. The top 4 drivers at the start of this race, all Division 2 drivers. That is a driver around in the background, and I believe it may have been Mohamed El Hilary and Brendan Lobb possibly going around in the background there. El Hilary is out of this race, has decided, well, this is going to be a drop week for him. Of course, so drop weeks will be coming into play. This is the fight at the front right now, and Gould is leading the way nicely ahead of Nagel. Martin is up to 3rd overall, 3rd in class, followed by Matt Gwillam. Gwillam leading the Division 1 class right now in 4th overall. You can see it is going 3-4 cars wide out of turn number 1 in the background as all of our drivers are trying to find their way through, including Milan Jukovic here, who is in 18th position right now. Started 23rd, so he is moving up the order. He's side by side here with Rosenfeld as they come through turn number 3. They're still side by side. Jukovic on the outside. That is Anthony Hilton behind them as Michael Wynn has got repairs required. So a meatball flag for him. A slide from Rosenfeld. Holds it, collects it, and keeps the position ahead of Jukovic for now. But here comes Jukovic up the inside as that is Eric Martin with a meatball flag. And that is a driver falling down the order. And I believe that might be Martin falling down the order in the Hot Wheels machine there, very possibly. And looks up the inside of Haglund now. Haglund, of course, finishing inside that top 3 in Division 2 in race number 1, feature race number 1. Jukovic does it, not going for the clean bonus, it looks like, for Jukovic. Going for the hard charger award in this one. Jukovic from 23rd to 15th right now. That he is racing really, really well. This is the fight between Rocks and Downey right now. Downey on the outside, Rocks on the inside. 2 different classes, of course. This fight not gaining them position, but it is gaining them track position overall. As there's contact in the background, and that's with Jukovic. That is with Jukovic, who has gone off. I think it's Neil who has gone off. Is it going to come back on safely? It looks like there is no further contact in the background. Somehow, 15th overall, as there's more issues just up ahead. Tebow included in that one. That is not great for one of the championship contenders in Division 2. He falls down the order. Hilton moves up the order. Who else is falling down the order with Tebow? It looks like Anfield moving down the order. It looks like the rain is holding off for the moment. The track still wet though, and here goes Perez for 2nd. around the outside of Jürgen Nagel. Will Nagel be able to get the speed on the exit? It looks like Perez has found some great speed on that outside line. Through turn 4, will try not to aquaplane it into the wall like Matt Malone did in Heat Race 1. He's done that. He's kept it on. Through goes Perez, and here comes Gwilym now to get past Nagel. Once again on the outside, but is the outside going to work at turn 2? It doesn't look like it does, because Nagel coming back towards Perez here. Gwilym surely going to try and bump Perez a little bit further so he can follow through up towards turn number 2, because Nagel is going to want to try and hold on to this position. In fact, he's going back for the move up the inside of Aaron Perez, and there is contact. Perez now wide. Lane moves up the inside of Gwilym for the lead in Division 1. Will be trying to get past Perez, but is going to have to tuck it in here. Nagel holds on to second in class and second overall. Perez, as Nagel goes deep, Perez goes up the inside. Through goes Ian Lane. Lane, is he going to try once again to get past Perez? Is he going to have to filter in? It looks like he is just going to have to filter in, as we are going to get the interval positions, I hope, finally, if I can get this to work out. But here comes up the inside. Jukovic moves his way through past Cod and up into 8th position overall. And Cod misses his braking zone and will be off of the circuit in the background. Perez is right behind. Lane is right behind. Now, is Lane going to get into this fight for the Division 2 lead to try and take the overall win himself? Gwilym has made his move as well to make a way up. What happened to Gwilym? That was a miss. Something happened there that I missed. But Perez on the outside of Gould here for the race lead and the Division 2 lead. They're side by side into turn 4. Perez has got just enough overlap. Gould's going to allow him to have it. Lane is going to bump his rear. Gould hopefully will hold on to that. Try to avoid the puddles that are on the left-hand side of the circuit out of pit lane, and he does so, as that was a side-by-side. Jukovic trying to get past Downey now. Jukovic is second in class, can we just say, has half the race to get just 4 more overtakes done. As that is, no! That's Gould! It's Gould off the circuit with a mistake. A battle for P2. Nagel and Lane. As that's rocks off the track at turn 1 as well. 4 cars side by side in the background. As Lane takes second, holds second, with Nagel behind. Here comes Jukovic. Only 3 cars to overtake now. And he's dispatching one of them. He's dispatching 2 of them. But up the inside comes Wiley Downey. Downey moves into second in class. Side by side with Ian Lane now. Jukovic leads Division 1. Can he see it all come together today? This is side by side. Lane and Fox. This is fighting for second in class. Fox has got the inside and will hold the inside up towards turn 4. Lane is going to back out of that. Form of Division 2 drivers behind him. Nagel, Swaim, Hagland and Gould. And there is contact. Swaim up the inside of Nagel. We saw that there. Just a pit maneuver into turn 1. A great run on the exit. It'll give him the outside of turn 2. Not an ideal line to be, but if he can run it side by side, which he can, he's going to have the inside up to turn 3, into turn 3. And he has got the inside into turn 3. Fox moves past Downey here and will try now to push on towards Jukovic. As there is contact in the background and a big crash in the background there. I'm not sure who is involved. Bob Poplar is one of those involved there. It looks like Luis Henriquez is involved there. Peter McIntyre involved there. Meatball flags for a couple of those drivers. This is the fight for second overall, first in Division 1. And Jukovic goes deep at turn 1. A rare mistake is that from Milan Jukovic. Harry Fox not getting asked twice to get involved there. Wait to the inside, now pushing Jukovic up towards turn 3. Running for a different line here. Jukovic placing the car perfectly on that wider line so that Fox just couldn't turn in. Aaron Perez, without him making a mistake, to win this race with just 3 laps to go. And Jukovic is going to be overtaken by Fox. There's contact. Jukovic wide. There's another bit of contact with Downey. But Fox is into the lead of the Division 1 category. Jukovic down to 2nd in that class. But let's have a look at this man here, Aaron Perez. He couldn't quite put it together in Sebring, but he's gonna put it together here in Daytona. Aaron Perez is your race winner for feature race 2. Fox takes 2nd ahead of Jukovic. Aaron Perez wins in Division 2 and overall, a 2nd ahead of Harry Fox. Jukovic takes 3rd in the end. A great recovery in that invert grid from 23rd, gaining enough positions to be ahead of the Hard Charger Award. Milan Jukovic in 3rd then. Riley Dam was in 4th, followed by Ian Lane and Jared Swaim. Anders Hagelin, Stephen Hurd, Anthony Hilton and Matt Malone round out your top 10. Then came Neil Rocks and John Cook. Kevin Anfield was in 13th, followed by Mark Codd. Zach Gould was in 15th, followed by Richard Edgar. Zach Thibault in 17th, followed by Luis Henriquez, Paul Bronstein and Jürgen Nagel. Then it was Bob Poplar. Out of your race was Matt Neal, Peter McIntyre, Timothy Rosenveld, Matt Gwilym, Bachelor Win, Martin Lobb and El Hilaire. We will see you then next week on August 9th for Portland with no chicane. That'll be a fantastic race. I love the circuit and I think we're going to see some fantastic racing. Until next time, I hope you have a fantastic week and I will see you at Portland for round number 4. Goodbye.